Welcome to another episode of the Happy Friday Committee Mindset. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Kevin Dorse, who is the executive at a brokerage firm. And I asked him on here today to get his perspective on the Happy Friday Committee Mindset, which is being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful. How you doing today, Kevin?
I'm very well, thanks.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, I just want to hop right into it and get your perspective on the first principle, which is being fearless.
Sure. Well, I actually don't think fearless in of itself is the correct way of looking at it because I think everybody has fear when they're doing difficult things. If you think about a soldier that's running up on a machine gun post, he or she doesn't think, oh, well, no big deal. They're scared, but it's how you control fear, it's how you handle fear that is, I guess, the closest equivalence to fearless. You're not without fear, you're just brave because you know the fear, you see it, you control it, and you don't let it dominate you. And so you are controlling the fear within you. So you're not fearless, you're just brave. You control that fear. So whether you're presenting in front of 1,000 people or whatever it is that gives you fear or anxiety, you recognize it and you go through it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. The next principle would be resilient. What does resilient mean to you?
But to me, resilience is the ability to get back up when you fail, when you don't get something done the way you want it, because you're resilient in the sense of that you recognize that, hey, it didn't quite go the way I wanted. So you reflect, you look at what may have gone wrong so you can do better next time, but you don't allow it to knock you out. So, just like Rocky Balboa when he was fighting in the ring, he went down, but he just kept getting back up. And so, he was trying to conquer his opponent, where you might be trying to conquer a project or whatever it is that you need to excel at. And so you keep trying, you might be doing a program, you just can't get it to work correctly, but you don't let it get you down, and you don't give up. You keep being resilient and coming back at it.
Excellent. The next principle is being intuitive. Can you give us an example of using intuition in your personal life or in business?
Well, intuition is really when you know something should be a certain way or it's not correct, but you can't quite put your finger on exactly what it is. So it's like your soul, your inside just feels what is right or wrong. And so if you're going to present against let's say you're competing on an RFP to try and win an account, and you walk into a room and you get a sense on the type of people and how they want to interact. So maybe you're dealing with the CFO or a controller, and so they're very, very coming at a more intellectual level. So you bring it up because you right away you get a feeling that, hey, I need to present in a certain way. Whereas maybe you've got a board of directors and they're individuals from various different parts of life, and so you have to bring it down and be less technical, because otherwise it's just going to go over their heads and they're going to tune out and it's not going to play. So intuition is just listening to what your insides are telling you about a certain situation. And it can be just I don't really like this person, and what that is you're seeing what's called micro momentary expressions that you can't see but you feel. And so intuition is just recognizing that this is something you have to listen to, and when you do that, you're going to do much better in life, because you're going to get you're utilizing more than just your basic vision. You're using other aspects of self to analyze the situation.
Wow, wow. And in those situations, how do you remain determined in that, which is the next principle?
Well, determination is just that drive to succeed at whatever you're doing. So, when you get knocked down and you pick yourself back up, resilience, determination is the other side of that coin, because to be resilient, you have to be determined. You have to have that drive to want to succeed. But I also think at the same time, there has to be an intelligence behind that determination. So I'll give you an example. When I was a young man, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I still enjoy law, and I incorporate it into being a broker and analyze policies and things. And so, I applied for all these top law schools, Yale, Harvard, and stuff like that. Of course, they all said no, because you know how it is. and I did actually get accepted into Suffolk up in New England, but I analyzed the economic impact of not working, the cost of it all, and I decided to go another direction. So I was determined, and I did all the things I had to do. I took the tests and I got accepted to law school. But then I really thought about, is that the right direction for me? And maybe it could have been, but I chose to go a different way, and I ended up in insurance. And I'm very glad I did, because I love what I do, and I really
Mm,
feel that I've got to be a lawyer of type. I'm obviously not a lawyer, but the way I analyze policies, it's very similar skill set. And so I
mm.
think determination has to be an intelligent determination. If you keep hitting your head on the wall and it hurts, and you keep hitting your head on the wall, it hurts, it's still going to keep hurting no matter how many times you hit your head on the wall. So being
Wow.
determined is great, but you have to know where, if you're at a roadblock, sometimes God wants to make you go in another direction. So you think it's, I've got to go right, I've got to go right, but God's going, no, you need to go left. And so you have to have the intuition to realize sometimes there's a point where determination is not going to get you where you want to go.
Intelligent determination. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Absolutely. The next principle after you succeed is being appreciative. How do you show appreciation, and what does that gratitude mean to you?
Well, I think what you put out into the world, you get back. And so I think appreciating the fact that you're on 2 feet, that you're the right side of the grass, that you have your health, that you have your family, whatever blessings that you have, realizing that not everybody has them. And frankly, they can be taken away. I mean, you can lose the loss of your limbs in an accident in a heartbeat. You could be fired from a job. So all these things that you put so much value on, just remember that they're all a blessing. So be appreciative. The fact that you have a certain job, it doesn't matter whether somebody's a janitor or a cleaner or a high executive. You treat everybody with respect, and that's a part of being appreciative of life, of people, of love, of all the people around you. And so for me, it's a case of, I'm a believer, so for me it's all about Jesus and what he did. So I appreciate being saved, but I also appreciate the fact that he gave me an example of how I should be around other people. And so, yeah, I can be a lot of fun and maybe a little flashy sometimes, but at the same time, I really love the people around me, and I try and show it. And I love helping people. So wherever I can, I help. And so I think when it's not about what can I get versus what can I give, I think it's a perspective. So appreciation tends to come out if you have a giving focus versus a
Mm.
getting focus. So that's how I see it. I mean, I do believe that you have to love your neighbor as yourself, and you have to show appreciation by your actions and what you do.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. The last principle is being youthful. What does youthful mean to you, and how do you stay youthful?
Well, I mean, I think there's a mental and there's a physical aspect to that. The mental side is just wanting to get everything from life, wanting to experience, wanting to get out there, not just sitting on your couch, not just watching TV, but just going out, being social and interacting. And I know for certain people who are more introverted, that can be more difficult, but I do think experience and keeping going and being up and about will keep you youthful. Also, I think the people you surround yourself with, if you surround yourself with individuals that are, they're kind of half asleep and they're grumpy and they're just they give you a bad example, and you tend to be like the people around you. So surround yourself with people that have a youthful, it doesn't matter about age, it's about how you are, how gregarious you are and everything else. But
Absolutely.
and then the physical aspect is, keeping yourself fit and strong, getting in the gym at least 3 times a week, ideally more, and just having so you can physically enjoy life. I think the two go hand in hand. If you're overweight and you have health issues, I mean, shoot, as you know, only a year and a half ago I was 283 pounds. I'm now 235 pounds, and the
Wow.
difference I feel, I mean, I'm on fire. I just I can't explain the impact it had on me. And that when I look at the photos before, and I'm like this chubby little guy, and now I've got this skinny little face up there, I'm like, wow. But so youthful is a mental, it's a way of thinking, and I think it's a physical. So I think the two together go hand in hand. You can't have one, or it's very difficult to have one without the other. You need to be healthy as well as have a youthful mentality. The two together is going to give you the best results.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, out of these principles, being fearless, resilient, intuitive, determined, appreciative, and youthful, which principle means the most to you, and why?
I mean, I would say I'm probably fearless because I'm a little bit of an alpha sometimes, most of the time, and so I really don't walk away. And so I think, but frankly, every single one of these are part of that whole, and you can't one without the other. They all interrelate. So I see myself, as back in my younger days, I bounced in clubs for years. I'm ex-military, so I'm kind of a I would say aggressive because I'm not aggressive, but I'm a physical person. So the fearlessness is something that I exude, and so I'd say that really jumps out at me. But all of the different aspects come into play. I mean, you really need to incorporate them to be a whole person and to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kevin, for coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule. And I know this is going to help a lot of people.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right. You have an excellent day.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.